relaxation. Take a few slow, deep breaths and relax. See if you can reflect along these lines. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. Connecting to the meaning of these words, what does it mean to be happy, not only for today, but for the rest of your life? Happiness and peace. We use them interchangeably. You can send the same kind of loving kindness to your friends, either to your friends, parents, relatives, teachers. May my parents be well, happy, and peaceful. Or you can say, reflect along these lines, may my teachers be well, happy, and peaceful. Or may my relatives be well, happy, and peaceful. May my friends be well, happy, and peaceful. You can send loving kindness to your mother or father, wishing the same thing that you wished for yourself. The third category is those who are neither your friends or enemies, no enemies. We call them neutral persons. Those are also very helpful in our life. Wish them the same thing that you wished for yourself. May the neutral people be well, happy, and peaceful. Moving on to the unfriendly person. May the unfriendly person be well, happy, and peaceful. And finally, may all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. So all beings include living beings, breathing beings. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. After that, you can now come to the breath. And be mindfulness of the breathing processes, in breath and out breath. See if you can pay attention to where you feel the breath more distinctly, either at the nostrils or the rise and the fall of abdomen. See if you can be mindfulness from the beginning of in-breath at the nostrils to the end of it. Beginning of out-breath to the end of it. See if you can sustain your attention all the way. If you choose to watch the second stage of the breath, rise and the fall of abdomen, as you breathe in, the abdomen rises. See if you can be aware of that process. As you breathe out, the abdomen falls. So you bring your awareness to this process also. You can choose which one is easier for you. as you are mindful of breathing in and out, sometimes thoughts arises that takes your awareness away from the breath. See if you can expand your awareness to embrace whatever is arising. Maybe it's thoughts, thinking, you become aware of thinking. Maybe the mind is wandering in the past and the future, just become aware of wandering. Maybe it's feelings or emotions. See if you can include whatever arises in the present moment. And then go back to the breath. Tupamaya besam satanam sukho kamato pasitva kamato metta sabbasati subhavaye. Having seen that all beings like oneself have a desire for happiness and peace, one methodically develops loving kindness for all beings. So reflect along these lines again. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Thank you very much for practice. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, so today's topic is exploring the middle position of the Buddha's teaching. The middle position. Can you hear me very well? So, first and foremost, I wish you a happy Vesak Day. I wish you a happy Vesak Day. Somebody asked me, you are here for the Vesak Day. What about Uganda Vesak Day? I didn't abandon the Ugandan people. I didn't abandon them. Actually, we celebrated ours as soon as it was full moon. We celebrated it and got it out of the way. And now I came here. That's like Buddhism, actually. You can celebrate the whole month. You can celebrate. Like now, for us, we celebrated on May 8th. I think it was May 8th. Now, until now, June, people are celebrating Vesak Day, even United Nations Vesak Day. Actually, I'm supposed to be in Thailand, technically speaking. Every year I'm invited on the United Nations Vesak Day in Thailand. Every year, every single year I'm invited. But I could not divide myself between. And then I decided to stay with BF because it's here I share the Dhamma with you like this. But there on Vesak Day there, it's many people. I do the same thing I did last year. Yeah, so I think here I made a choice to celebrate Vesak Day with you this year. I just sent my assistant there, a Ugandan there, and say, you can celebrate it on my behalf. And eat all food for my behalf. Yes, definitely. So actually, Vesak Day for me is a very, very important day in two ways. For me, I see Vesak Day in two ways. One is celebration. Another one is reflection. So we say we are celebrating Vesak Day. For me, actually, I would put a word. We are celebrating and reflecting on Vesak Day because celebration is very good. We celebrate his birth. We celebrate his awakening. We celebrate his passing into Parinibbana. Those are celebration, three kinds of celebration. Two in one, how efficient the Buddha, you know. He didn't give a lot of burden. He's born on May, and then he attained enlightenment in August, and then he passed away in December. So it was very efficient. Very efficient. Three in one, you know. Is it not amazing? So even his monks, they eat dinner and lunch together, you know. It's just amazing. Yeah, so today I was having lunch. People ordered me extra food. Celebration of birthday of Sister Michelle, you know. Yeah, so they ordered me truffle pizza. And they say it's an extra there. I say, am I going to finish it? And then I remember that I have to actually consolidate, actually. So I did my justice and ate. So you can see the Buddha was very efficient. Very efficient in a way, not only his teaching, but or even the whole life, Even the teaching is really very consolidated, so that you can actually understand it. Understand it. So celebration, I've told you, we celebrate 3 events in one that we all understand. In some places we bathe the Buddha, pour water as a sign. Yes, I think we are going to do it here also. Saturday, but there is that bathing of the Buddha to be, baby Buddha, and there is also celebration, meditation. Then we also eat. We celebrate together. I think minus eating, they're not celebration. There's a lot of celebration. That part I don't need to go over it. Already, I think you're the one who organized. I don't need to go over how we are going to celebrate Vesak. But I want to go over the reflection. Reflection part is very, very important because every time for the Vesak day, I think we need combined celebration with the reflecting. Reflecting on the teaching of the Buddha, reflecting on the Buddha and the Sangha, the qualities of the Buddha. We need to reflect on them.
Tomorrow we have the reflection and meditation for the people who are coming for the Vesak retreat.
Oh, okay, that's very good. So everything is done very well. Okay, now we reflect on the qualities of the Buddha, which is unity. Purity. Buddha purified his mind. Buddha has purified his mind of greed, hatred, and delusion. We need to reflect on those 3 qualities. The purity of the mind, he purified his mind and became awakened one. The Buddha means awakened one. And also, we reflect on his Mahakaruna, great compassion. Great compassion. They say that if you gather all the mothers all around the world, but they should also include fathers, around the world, you gather all of them, those people will not have this amount of compassion that the Buddha have. The Buddha, for him actually, is not even compassion, is Maha-compassion, great compassion, or Mahakaruna. So also we reflect on those qualities. We reflect on the quality of wisdom. Mahapanya, he had great wisdom also. So these we can, of course, there are 6 qualities of the Buddha, you repeat them already. I hear that before I come here. Before I come here, I can listen in my room. You're reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha, but you can reflect the 3 of them for ease, 3 of them, you should remember those. Then the Buddha, we remember also the Buddha's teaching was, the way he taught it is excellent in the beginning, that means ethical conduct. Excellence in the middle, that means concentration. And now excellent also in the end, that means wisdom. So that pretty much summarizes the Noble Eightfold Path. It summarizes. So at Vesak Day, we should remember those 3 teachings, right? Which is beginning, middle, and end. And also Sangha has many qualities, but we should remember 3 qualities of the Sangha. Unity. The Sangha are a unified form of people who come under the same umbrella. All of them, they would like to attain enlightenment, and they don't want to suffer. So those people who don't want to suffer and they want to attain enlightenment, that unite them under that theme. Then also another thing, the one quality of the Sangha is harmony. People, they live harmoniously, not in conflict. Conflict, you cannot be in conflict and live in a Sangha. So, in other words, harmony is one quality of the Sangha also. You need to reflect on that. Another one, support. They all support each other. Support, spiritual support. So now, these 3, you need to reflect on this, among all other qualities, but I pick out 3 that is easier to remember. Practically, you can always remember this. But today's talk is going I'm talking about the middle position. We are going to explore together the middle position of the Buddha's teaching. Now, when you look at exactly how the Buddha began his when he got enlightened, what did the Buddha teach first? Who knows what he taught to the people? Yes. He's right. You're not wrong, but as soon as you get enlightened, what do you learn from the Buddha? So now, since we are celebrating the Vesak Day, we need to reflect, explore. That's why I put the word explorer together. Exploration, yeah? We are just exploring, yeah? What do you think? We are exploring together. What Buddha, as soon as got enlightened, what did he do? He blissed out? What did he do? Yes, gratitude. He actually looked at the tree and said, wow, I'm very thankful for the tree. So that's the thing that you need to do now. Today, we are doing Vesak Day. Be grateful to your husband. Be grateful to your wife. Be grateful to your friend. Be grateful to the trees. All right? You also turn to each other and say, I'm very grateful to each other. Turn. Very good. Yes. Grateful. I'm very grateful to that young boy. I'm very grateful to you because you teach me how to bow. Did you all express gratitude? You did? Who didn't do it? Everybody you did. Now you also have to be grateful to the trees. Because those are external lungs, you know. When I teach in Uganda, I tell people, do you know your external lungs? They say, they didn't know external lungs. They know all the internal lungs, but they don't know external lungs, you know. That's why in Singapore, I thank God to the government of Singapore, who have created external lungs. In the entire city, we see external lungs. Those are the trees, you know. The trees give us what? Oxygen. And then we give them. But it's so easy to forget. For me, it's amazing how we take things for granted, actually. For me, at Bhavana Society in the monastery, where I ordain, every time when I wake up, I would go, there was a tree next to my kuti. Actually, that's a kuti where I used to stay. It's a kuti for Bhante Buddharakkhita. His student gave to him. And also it happened to be the Sima. I would wake up, as soon as I wake up, I would join and hug at the tree. I said, thank you very much, tree, for giving me oxygen. I'm alive. And I'm telling you, every morning I would just, I'm very grateful to your tree. Actually, how I started that also is when I used to go to New York to teach, the center was on 10th floor, towering in all these skyscrapers. And there was no tree, you know. Then from there, I would see Central Park, very far away. The trees were too far away, you know. But when I was in Makuti in West Virginia, in a forest monastery, the tree was just next to my kuti there because the forest monastery. So I came to appreciate trees, actually. I came to appreciate trees. So now, really, to be thankful, to be grateful is very, very important. Be grateful to your life, that you are still alive. Another Visakha does come. Do you do this in the morning? For me, as soon as I wake up, that's the first thing I do. That's the first thing I do. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm awake. I'm healthy. Do you do that as soon as you wake up? Or you just go for a cup of tea? A cup of coffee? Forget about grateful, you know, about life. I'm healthy. I'm grateful. I'm healthy. I have a precious life because we have such a life like this. It's not easy to become a human being, by the way. It is not easy to become a human being. And guess from middle, as far as middle position of Buddha teaching, you know a human being is a middle class. I'm not talking about middle class people have money and those and all this. Middle class means, I'm giving this definition, is the place as a human being that is conducive to practicing Buddha's teaching. Other kind of existence, if you go to heaven, too much enjoyment. Maybe you sleep, and you wake up. You wake up at maybe at noon and eat a lot, do this, and you forget about the practice. Too much happiness is cannot practice, isn't it? And then another existence is hell. Hell and other realms, they are not conducive to the practice because there's a lot of pain there. A lot of pain. So then human life, we should be grateful to human life because it's the conducive kind of life where you can practice Buddha's teaching and attain awakening. It's conducive. So when we talk about middle position, the first thing we should remember is being a human being. And we should not take that for granted. That's first what we call middle position. Human being is what we should explore. What does it mean to be a human being? Then we have a chance to practice. We have a chance to practice the Dhamma, and we have all good conditions actually to do so. We have all good conditions to do so. Actually, there's Buddha teaching on Mangala Sutta, meaning association with the wise people and not to associate with the wise. It's a great blessing and a success. You people in Singapore, you are very, very blessed. You know, you always associate with different wise people. You know, people coming to Singapore, Ajahn Nan, this, Ajahn this. I remember when I ordained in California, my teacher left. I said, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to Singapore to teach Abhidhamma." "I'm a monk." But your position, by the way, as a Singaporean, don't take it for granted. You are so well positioned to be in a place where wise people come and you associate with them. I guess many teachers have come through BF and all these things. Compare a country in Africa like Chad. Chad is in the middle of Africa. I've never been there, but if I ever go there, there's never been probably a monk there, I'm telling you. 2,600 years, there has never been a monk going to Chad. I think so. Isn't it? But you Singapore, how many teachers have come through? So you should be grateful to that associating with the wise, and is a blessing, and also is a success. And then the Buddha talks about having done good things in the past. Having done good things in the past is a blessing and success. All right? So now you people, you have done a lot of good things to be able to associate with the wise people. Don't take that for granted. You should be grateful that you have done good things in the past and continue to do kusala. Continue to do good things. Continue. Don't stop. It's non-stop. Non-stop. Continue to do good things to create condition for the future, for the present and the future. And then he said that associating with the wise, having done, living in a suitable place, that's another blessing and success. Living in a what? In a suitable place. A suitable place, anybody who has done business, is location, location, and location. All right? So now, you people in Singapore, the way you are located in a place where you have a chance to do good things. To do what? To practice sila, ethical conduct, to practice concentration, practice wisdom. So you are in a very good place where you have a chance to do these things. So we can count our blessings. One is to associate with the wise and not to associate with unwise people. What are the wise people? Those who can do things for the benefit of others. Who can do practice whatever the practice they are doing for their benefit of others, and both. those who are unwise, those who are doing things for their suffering and suffering of others and suffering of others. For both. So that's why we make that distinction. We are not saying that they don't go to school and all that. That's why they are unwise. No, it's what they do. What they do, if it's leading to suffering for themselves, others, and both, then we say it's unwise. But actually, when they're wise, you associate with wise people who do things for the happiness, oneself, others, and both. So now, the last fourth blessing, or love success, or the Buddha talks about success, actually, spiritual success, is establishing yourself in a right path. Establishing oneself in a right path. And that's today's exploration is about the right path. The middle position is what we call the right path. Right? So, right path is what? The Noble Eightfold Path. Is the Noble Eightfold Path that we're going to explore together, which is the middle position. But this one also comes from the Buddha's life himself. Before we start with the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha's life, you know the way Buddha lived his life was a prince, and lived in a luxury, indulging in a lot of sensual pleasures and other things. And now, later on in his life, he saw that this was an extreme. Then what did he do on the other extreme? Yes, and then he practiced asceticism and then self-mortification for 6 years, and you know all the life of the Buddha. And now that was an extreme. And he said, no, this is not going to work. The self-mortification and then self-indulgence is not going to work. What did he do? He found what we call, once he got enlightened, he practiced, of course, and attained enlightenment, and he taught what we call the middle way. What's the middle way? Is the Noble Eightfold Path. So today, as we are reflecting on Buddha's teaching, we need to read this very, very well and understand. And also explore other things which is about middle positions. Like even the teaching itself. Actually, the Buddha where he taught is called the middle region. It's amazing. It's called middle region where he taught. The exact region, geographically, is called the middle region. So we can see the middle class, I've told you, then the middle region, and now we are going to go to the middle practice. Now we are going to explore what we call the middle practice. So for that, as usual, always I want to read the sutta themselves. I don't want to talk about all things from Uganda like this. I want always to talk about what the Buddha taught, and we read it together. So now, I would like you to open page. That's a better way to spend the Vesak Day together, by reading what exactly Buddha taught when he got enlightened. There are many teachings he taught for many years, but this first discourse the Buddha taught, it's better we read it together. After reading that, we can now start celebrating. But at least we reflect on the exact thing the Buddha taught, and that's the middle way. So now open page number 1843. It's called Setting in Motion the Wheel of Dhamma. Setting the motion of the wheel of the Dhamma. So we are going to read it together. We're exploring together. So who want to read? Yes, please read. Read. So we are exploring the middle position together.
Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Varanasi in the deer park at Isipatana. There the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus of the group of 5 thus: Bhikkhus, these two extremes should not be followed by one who has gone forth into homelessness. What two? The pursuit of sensual happiness in sensual pleasures, which is low, vulgar, the way of worldlings, ignoble, unbeneficial, and the pursuit of self-mortification, which is painful, ignoble, unbeneficial. Without veering towards either of these extremes, the Tathagata has awakened to the middle way, which gives rise to vision, which gives rise to knowledge, which leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to Nibbana.
Okay, stop there, please. Now, his teaching leads to what? To Nibbana. Other teaching he tried, self-indulgence, were not leading to Nibbana. It was leading to bananas. Okay? But this one leads to where? Nibbana. And the other one, he was practice leads to peace, but actually, what he taught leads to peace, but actually, the other teaching was leading to pieces. Pieces. Yes. So sometimes you have to look at Buddha's life, you can see. Direct knowledge. The other one, it was leading to direct ignorance. Ignorance, you know? Yes, all his teaching, all his practice was leading to what? Ignorance. That's why it's ignoble. And also, it was leading to, it gives rise to vision. It was giving rise to those teachings, which was extremes. It was leading to confusion. What? Confusion. There was a lot of confusion. Ignorance and all that. Enlightenment. So now we can see the purpose of Buddha's teaching. 1, vision, knowledge, peace, direct knowledge, enlightenment, and Nibbana. So the 6 what? 6 purpose of Buddha's teaching. So now we have to reflect on that. So now Tathagata is the name Buddha called himself. That's gone, that's come. He called himself Tathagata. So now I think everything is very clear. We continue to read. Who want to continue to read? You? A little bit continue. Because you read very well. So please continue. You read well. This we're exploring the middle position. The Buddha is taking that this is a middle what? Middle way. But middle way we can also middle practice. Because we have already explored middle class, the human being, middle region. In India, it's called middle region where the Buddhism started. Now we are on the middle what?
Middle way.
Middle way or middle?
Path.
Or middle practice. Path or practice. So we are going to explore other middle positions. But let's begin with this one. Continue, please.
And what bhikkhus is that middle way awakened to by the Tathagata, which gives rise to vision, which leads to Nibbana? It is this noble eightfold path, that is, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. This, bhikkhus, is that middle way awakened to by the Tathagata, which gives rise to vision, which gives rise to knowledge, which leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to Nibbana. Now this, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of suffering. Birth is suffering. Aging is suffering. Illness is suffering. Death is suffering. Union with what is displeasing is suffering. Separation from what is pleasing is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. In brief, the 5 aggregates subject to clinging are suffering. Now this, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. It is this craving which leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there, that is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for extermination. Now this, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. It is the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, the giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. Now this, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. It is this noble eightfold path, that is, right view to right concentration. This is the noble truth of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of suffering is to be fully understood. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of suffering has been fully understood. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin of suffering is to be abandoned. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin of suffering has been abandoned. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the cessation of suffering is to be realized. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the cessation of suffering has been realized. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering is to be developed. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering has been developed. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. So long, bhikkhus, as my knowledge and vision of these four noble truths, as they really are, in their 3 phases and 12 aspects, was not thoroughly purified in this way, I did not claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world, with its devas, Mara, and Brahma, in this generation, with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans. But when my knowledge and vision of these 4 noble truths, as they really are, in their 3 phases and 12 aspects, was thoroughly purified in this way, then I claimed to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world with its devas, Mara, and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans. The knowledge and vision arose in me. Unshakable is the liberation of my mind. This is my last birth. Now there is no more renewed existence. This is what the Blessed One said. Elated, the bhikkhus of the group of 5 delighted in the Blessed One's statement. And while this discourse was being spoken, there arose in the Venerable Kodana the dust-free, stainless vision of the Dhamma. Whatever is subject to origination is all subject to cessation. And when the wheel of the Dhamma had been set in motion by the Blessed One, the earth-dwelling devas raised a cry. At Bharapasi, in the deer park at Isipatana, this unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by any ascetic or Brahmin or Deva or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. Having heard the cry of the earth-dwelling devas, the devas of the realm of the 4 great kings raised the cry. At Bharapasi, this unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by anyone in the world. Having heard the cry of the devas of the realm of the 4 great kings, the Tavatimsa devas, the Yama devas, the Tusita devas, the Nimanarati devas, the Paranimittavasavati devas, the devas of Brahma's company raised the cry. At Barapasi, in the deer park at 𝐸𝑠𝑖𝑝 Thana, this unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by any ascetic or Brahmin or Deva or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. Thus, at that moment, at that instant, at that second, the cry spread as far as the Brahma world, and this 10,000-fold world system shook, quaked, and trembled, and an immeasurable, glorious radiance appeared in the world, surpassing the divine majesty of the Devas. Then, the Blessed One uttered this inspired utterance: Kondana has indeed understood. Kondana has indeed understood. In this way, the Venerable Kondana acquired the name Ana Kondana, Kondana who has understood.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So I feel a lot of joy listening to this discourse 2,600 years ago. And this is exactly what the Buddha practiced to attain enlightenment. And this is exactly what is there for us to follow. I think this is a great time to reflect on this teaching. Imagine, really, that's exactly that the Buddha said that he turned the wheel with the wheel of Dhamma. It's still turning. It has never stopped. That's why we see Buddhism in Uganda now. And it's continuing like this. Isn't it amazing? It has never what? Stopped. So now, a few reflections. One of them, you talk about what you call the mission statement. Universities are mission statement, and business have mission statement. So what mission statement do you get it when you read here? Mission statement. You know mission statement. Tell me, what mission statement do you see here? Cessation of suffering. No, la. There's a mission statement here. How to achieve liberation. No, la. I'm going to write it today so that you know Buddha's mission statement. Because I need to write today. I don't want you to miss the boat. The mission statement of the Buddha from this discourse, we see a mission statement. Right? I'm going to write it. That's why we say very important mission statement. In all discourse, we find the mission statement. The first one. To be understood. To be understood. The second mission statement, origin of suffering. Origin of suffering. Sorry? To be abandoned. To be abandoned. Number 3, cessation of suffering. I thought you know the mission statement of the Buddha. Cessation of suffering. To be realized. Fourth and the last. The path to the cessation, to the end of suffering. To be developed. So next time somebody asks, give a mission statement. Right there. Don't linger around this. So now when we develop the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the middle way, middle position, we come to understand suffering. Eh? We come to understand what? Suffering. When we understand suffering, we abandon the cause. When we abandon the cause, we end suffering. It's all systematic. So, what's the mission statement of the Buddha? Don't point, you talk. Talk, chat. What? Therefore, one? Uh-huh. So, we see do we know the vision? What's the vision? You should know the vision. What's the vision? Nibbana. 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 Nibbana for all. Nibbana for what? For all. But let us put this way, because I don't know whether all will attain Nibbana. I'm not. People will accuse me. Bhante, you say all will attain Nibbana. I haven't attained Nibbana. So, okay. Not bananas. That's what I say. The vision is what? Of the Buddha's what? All Buddha's teaching, and this, when you talk about a vision, it should be really a very big vision. Can you imagine the Buddha's vision is people to attain Nibbana? That's what we taught here, the Noble Eightfold Path. We say it's leading to the vision, then to knowledge, then to peace, then to direct knowledge, then to what? Then what's the mission? To understand suffering, to abandon the cause of suffering. So for me, I laid it down like this, but you should start like this. So because you should write it properly today. So I like the Buddha's teaching already, actually. It's very clear. To understand. First, to understand. To understand suffering. Or you can say the first noble truth. To understand suffering. That's to write the mission, properly the mission. To abandon the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering. Suffering. Then the third one is to realize Nibbana, the end of suffering. The end of suffering. And then the fourth is to abandon. Ah, yes, you are awake. To develop the path that leads to the end of suffering. You see, Buddha's teaching should be made relevant these days, because we teach people who are working in business, who have vision and mission. If we just leave it all and not update, is no good. Yeah, like now, last time I was teaching Brazil, Brazil, business people with tags. You know, I was giving a talk at ANZ Bank in Melbourne, in Australia. So you have to translate. When the people in a bank ask me to give a talk, I talk about success, the 4 bases of success. When I talk to the company, I talk about mission, vision. You have a mission, also we have a mission. Vision like this. We need to update Buddha's teaching. Yes. So now, I think this is very, very important. This is what's the what? The middle practice. Once you develop the path, you understand suffering. Once you understand suffering, you abandon the cause of suffering. Once you abandon the cause, it's all scientific. So we have explored now. Finish. If you want to explore more, we can explore more if you want. We are done. Okay, now I think you still need to explore. Let's go to another discourse. I think you still want more Dhamma, which is called Dhamma food. Okay, page number. 185 is called Aranya Vibhanga Sutta. Aranya Vibhanga Sutta. Majjhima Nikaya, page.
What is the number?
Number is numbers 139. Yes, non-conflict. Okay, now let us do this, but somebody else is going to read. I just want to tell you, just wait a little bit. But what about you? You need to read also. Okay, wait. Okay, you see this expression about non-suffering, non-suffering, non-conflict? So Buddha, when he came to this world, so there was a lot of conflict. There was a very big conflict in the world. Do you know that conflict? You don't know? You don't know the conflict during the time of the Buddha? I thought you've been attending my talk. On one side, there are people who were on extremes. They believed in what you call eternalist views, whereby they thought that a soul, a self, is a metaphysical, and now it's a metaphysical thing, and then once you die, it goes eternally and live forever. And that brought practices like self-mortification, because they wanted to practice to purify the soul or the self, so that wherever it goes, it escapes the gravity of the body and it reaches its destination and stay there forever. So in other words, that was one conflict. Now, on the other side, there was an opposing conflict whereby the self was physical, actually, and now it was identical to the body. So at the point of death, which is called annihilation, that self is going to be annihilated with the body. So that caused a lot of what we call self-indulgence, where people are going to enjoy while it's still here, because they know that at the point of death, everything will cease. Everything is going to be kaput. So this one extreme is like this, another extreme was that. So the Buddha fixed himself in the middle there, and he taught the Noble Eightfold Path. He gave the mission, the vision, and the mission. Actually, the problem even with the vision, the problem had that after death, people thought that after somebody passes away, is he going to exit or is he not going to exit? In other words, what happened to the Tathagata? Does he live? Does he exist or does not exist? So that was becoming a problem. Yeah, so now there's a big conflict. This was solving the conflict back then. That's why it's called non-conflict. So to get a flavor of a middle position, I chose this discourse specifically for that. So who can read efficiently? She doesn't want to read. Please. Okay, now go to page number. You are going to see other middle way, starting from 13. We are going to explore them. Number 13. Number 13 is about here bhikkhus, pursuits of enjoyment. It starts with number 13. Number 13.
The pursuit of enjoyment, is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Pursuit of enjoyment of
one whose pleasure.
Yes, start from there. You are going to explore a lot of things from there. Oh, I think it's even better. No, just a moment. No. Just a moment. This is even much better. Number 9 down to bhikkhus. Now start from down, number 9. What is number 9?
One should not pursue sensual pleasure.
But that one already, you know. Go down. Go down until you finish the word fear. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, after the word feared. Yeah, from there, read it from there down.
So it was with this reference.
Yes, somebody can read from there.
Hello, okay. So it was with reference to this that it was said, one should know how to define pleasure, and knowing that one should pursue pleasure within oneself. One should not utter covert speech, and one should not utter overt sharp speech. So it was said, and with reference to what was this said, here bhikkhus, when one knows covert speech to be untrue, incorrect, and unbeneficial, one should on no account utter it. when one knows covert speech to be true, correct, and unbeneficial, one should try not to utter it. But when one knows covert speech to be true, correct, and beneficial, one may utter it, knowing the time to do so. Here, bhikkhus, when one knows overt sharp speech to be untrue, incorrect, and unbeneficial, one should on no account utter it. When one knows overt sharp speech to be true, correct, and unbeneficial, one should try not to utter it. But when one knows overt sharp speech to be true, correct, and beneficial, one may utter it, knowing the time to do so. So it was with reference to this that it was said, one should not utter covert speech, and one should not utter overt sharp speech. One should speak unhurriedly.
Okay, so before that, so you can see the middle position there. You see the middle position? Last time it was Sunday, I gave a talk on speech. Yeah, so you should avoid on one side covert speech and overt speech. Yeah, then you can speak what is really the Buddha wanted, something which is true, correct, and beneficial, but choosing the right time, right? So you see the middle position of the Buddha was trying to avoid those extremes because they lead to conflict. And he wants to solve the conflict, you know. So now you continue, please. Another way.
One should speak unhurriedly, not hurriedly. So it was said. And with reference to what was this said? Here, bhikkhus, when one speaks hurriedly, one's body grows tired and one's mind becomes excited. One's voice is strained and one's throat becomes hoarse. And the speech of one who speaks hurriedly is indistinct and hard to understand. Here, bhikkhus, when one speaks unhurriedly, one's body does not grow tired, nor does one's mind become excited. One's voice is not strained, nor does one's throat become hoarse. And the speech of one who speaks unhurriedly is distinct and easy to understand. So it was reference to this that it was said, one should speak unhurriedly, not hurriedly.
Okay, thank you very much. So now there's a middle position also there. To speak unhurriedly. Because in the time of the Buddha, there was one extreme. One extreme was called people keep quiet. They're called munis. It was a practice. And no wonder when the Buddha got enlightened, he was called muni, one who is silent. But people misunderstand that he's doing the practice of the silence during the time of the Buddha. There are people who practice what you call self-mortification, and for them it was not to talk. Not to talk for the rest of their life. They would go to the cave and not talk, you know. Yeah, the Buddha talked about that could be an extreme, we can say. That's not talk a lot. But also talking too much, hurriedly, and all this. The Buddha said it to pain and all that. So we should talk in the middle position, all right? So even the Buddha was teaching middle position regarding talking, you know? So this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we continue to read. Or you can give, that would be an extreme to read all. So we give it to Sister Eileen. I will choose another one to read. Because we don't want an extreme. Read, please.
One should not insist on local language, and one should not override normal usage. So it was said, and with reference to what was this said. How, bhikkhus, does there come to be insistence on local language and overriding of normal usage? Here, bhikkhus, in different localities, they call the same thing a dish, a bowl, a vessel, a saucer, a pan, a pot, a mug, or a basin. So whatever they call it in such and such a locality, one speaks accordingly, firmly adhering to that expression and insisting, only this is correct, anything else is wrong. This is how there comes to be insistence on local language and overriding normal usage. And how, because does there come to be non-insistence on local language and non-overriding of normal usage? Here, bhikkhus in different localities, they call the same thing a dish or a basin. So whatever they call it in such and such a locality, without adhering to that expression, one speaks accordingly, thinking, these venerable ones, it seems, are speaking with reference to this. This is how there comes to be non-insistence on local language and non-overriding of normal usage. So it was with reference to this that it was said, one should not insist on local language and one should not override normal usage.
So now, I think you got the message, eh? Many conflicts within us, with our friends, is actually insisting on what you think something is being called. It's called a potato. It's called banana. It's called even the tomato, then banana nibana, then potato and potato, all this kind of thing. Then when we talk, you see somebody trying to correct you. It's called onion, not onion. Onion. You know, many times I've been corrected, you know. Yes. Sister Eileen said that I don't know English. First she said that my laws are not smooth, not yet smooth. Because I said no la, you know, no la. Then she said about can and can. So she's the one who's training me to speak English, you know. But I'm working on it, you know. Yeah, so even Dr. Fu, I visited him for my medical report. He said, he was asking me something, and I said, can. He said, can or can? Can, like this kind of thing. So now relationship have been wrecked just because of differences on people's view of something, you know. I think you know Ajahn Brahm or Ajahn Icha talk about is a duck, not a duck. Have you heard about this? That story? This is a classic example. A duck, chicken and duck story. Yeah, you know this story. You've heard about it. It's coming from these extremes. Extremes. Okay, now let us fast forward. We are running out of time. Because already we have seen that one in the other sutta. So you go to number. Therefore, this is a state. Here bhikkhus extolling and disparaging. Can you go to that? Here bhikkhus. Okay. Here bhikkhus.
Next person. Anyone?
Who can lead? I'm going to choose Brother Andrew. Yeah, because I'm going now to choose, because we want to fast forward. This is reflecting on the Buddha's teaching, what the Buddha wants us to practice. Beyond, this is also part of this actually. It's all part of this. So please read.
Here, bhikkhus extolling and disparaging and failure to teach only the Dhamma is a state beset by suffering, and it is the wrong way. Therefore, this is a state with conflict. Here, bhikkhus not extolling and not disparaging and teaching only the Dhamma is a state without suffering, and it is the right way. Therefore, this is a state without conflict. Here, bhikkhus, sensual pleasure, a filthy pleasure.
Okay, you can stop there. So about people who are on the other extremes, you should not say and disparage them, or they are keeping eternalistic views, or they are doing what you call annihilation. Don't disparage them because you're Buddhist and you know the Dhamma, or those people, wrong view, they are going to go to hell, you know. No. And also don't extol people, praise them, or you know those people, they have the middle way, middle position. No. That one, when you come from that place, is also a place of a view, you know. You see? So the Buddha said, teach the Dhamma. Talk about the Dhamma. In fact, when the Buddha was talking about when Buddha was teaching the Dhamma, because the Dhamma is not in reference with the person. So when you extol or disparage, you are disparaging based on the person, but not the act. So now when the Buddha was teaching the Dhamma, that really actually goes out of these extremes. So there's many other middle positions. One of them is called middle doctrine. Middle doctrine. That's the fourth one. Middle doctrine. This is dependent origination. Everything dependent arising is called a middle doctrine. While the other one is a middle practice, this is actually in theory. So in other words, why the Buddha was teaching it is because people on one extreme, people believed in existence, another one, no existence. These are extremes. The Buddha gave the teaching. On karma, the teaching on karma. The Buddha, he found this teaching in India actually. The teaching on karma. But when he came, he said, I'm going to teach you about the karma. But again, following the middle position. What's the middle position? People thought that everything is due to karma. Everything is caused by karma. That's one extreme. Because we see other things which are not caused by karma. Later on in the post-canonical, we found out other things like utu niyama. Utu niyama is the weather, the climate. Tsunami. Tsunami is not caused by karma. But the problem, even in Buddhist country, they talk about it. You know? Yeah, so they say, oh, these people have bad karma, they had tsunami. No, that's called utu niyama. Then there's bija niyama, which bija niyama seeds, the law of seeds. So the seeds like apples, you plant apples, you get apples, that's not karma. That's not law of karma. So the law of karma is very, very clear. Very clear. On one extreme, it's not that people thought that everything is caused by karma. That's an extreme. And on another extreme, people say that nothing is caused by karma. And very strange people who say that nothing is caused by karma. You see them putting on shoes, going outside. For me, it's baffling when I teach about law of karma and other people saying this law of karma is a Buddhist thing, I don't understand it. But for them, you see them putting on shoes to walk outside because they know the effect of walking barefooted. Isn't it? So it's a very strange human being. They're stubborn sometimes. They don't want to believe in anything, you know. Yeah, so they have doubt and all these things. So that's also the teaching of the Buddha. What message do we have today? I want to take this message home. All the Buddha's teaching that he taught was a critical response to address the conflict that was in his time. Because there was a lot of conflict. People thought karma, everything is due to karma. Other people say nothing is caused by karma. Buddha said, no, wait. There's some things, there's some conditions that that lead to let's say, what to call evolution, intentional actions. Something it's what to call not physical as it is before, karma, but it's actually mental. That's what they called chetana, volition. So whether you're doing something wholesome with intention or wholesome intention, it has a potential to bring wholesome results, and the opposite. If it's unwholesome intentions, it has a potential to bring unwholesome results. So this is exactly what the Buddha taught. We look at how people believed in no self. We have talked about that. No self, and now other people are being self. The Buddha created the teaching on non-self. So that was the middle position. I think with this, I would like to offer this for your reflection. So on Vesak Day, do two things: celebrate and also reflect. May you enjoy the Vesak Day and attain. How? Start. Develop the what? The middle way. Develop the middle way, and when you understand suffering, when you abandon, sad. Thank you very much. Happy Vesak Day. Okay. Good. Any question? No questions, because everybody understands the mission and the vision of the Buddha. It's very clear today. The middle position. So today, you understand. Next time business people come to ask you to teach them or explain about Buddhism, you just say, this is the vision. Why are you practicing the, Buddhism? Nibbana, to go to Nibbana. Then what's their mission? You tell them like this. Okay. Okay, so we share the merit, eh? Okay. Akasata chabummata devanagama iddika punyatam anumoditva chiram rakantu lokasasana. Akasata chabummata devanagama iddika punyatam anumoditva chiram rakantu desana. Akasata chabummata devanagama iddika punyatam anumoditva chiram rakantu mam paranti. Etawata cakamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etawata cakamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe buta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etawata cakamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Idame nyatina hotu sukrita hotu nyatayo. Idame nyatina hotu sukrita hotu nyatayo. Idame nyatina hotu sukrita hotu nyatayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.